up? It's like 3:30 in the morning. What are you doing in my bed? How did you get in here? You want to play Half-Life? Alright. What's next?
It's 1998. I promise, and Half-Life 1 just released. It was a huge revolution for not only first-person shooters, but video games in general. Okay, now what?
Apparently Valve just kind of said, I don't know, have someone make an expansion or something.
So that's what they did. They gave Gearbox Software, a recently founded game company, their first project ever to make an expansion for Half-Life 1, as well as eventually porting the original game to consoles. I guess. There's really not a whole lot of available information about the development of any of the Half-Life 1 expansions. They were just kinda willed into existence out of nowhere, I guess. There were 3 Half-Life expansions fully fabricated by the minds of these people. The first of these they accomplished was Half-Life Opposing Force. These expansions are kind of in a weird limbo in terms of their place in the canon of Half-Life. Specifically this one in particular, just because of how much new stuff is in this one. But before I talk about that, I should probably play the thing first, so here we go.
So if we're purely talking about my experience with the Half-Life series, I actually played this one kinda last. I played Half-Life 1, I played Half-Life 2 in the episodes, I played Half-Life Alyx, then I played Black Mesa, then Blue Shift, and then Half-Life Opposing Force. So by the time I got to this game, I had pretty much the entire series under my belt and kinda knew what to expect going in. That being said, it was still a fresh experience.
Let's just do it. Let's start with the training room.
Rise and shine, ladies! My name is Senior Drill Instructor Dwight T. Barnes. The first and last words I want to hear out of your stinking holes is, sir! Do I make myself clear? Sir! Yes, sir!
I was not expecting that. So this is not even a training room, it's boot camp, and our drill instructor comes up and politely asks for her name.
What's your name, dirtbag?
Which apparently I gave it to him.
Corporal Shepard, huh?
Silently.
Which implies that maybe Gordon Freeman actually never shuts the hell up in the games. We just don't know because we play as him.
We say that her name is Corporal Shepard. Then the instructor says that her name has mysteriously been bumped to the top of the list for the advanced training course.
Where are you from, soldier? Texas? Holy cow! You know what comes from Texas, don't you?
Do I?
This is already way more involved than the original training room. We get a whole big area to walk around in here. Not that there's anything really to do in it, but it's a rather pleasant surprise nonetheless. And just like any young theoretical physicist who is shockingly good with guns, we act mentally deranged, pissing people off, etc.
Are you touching me, dirtbag? Can I be in charge around here? I will smoke you like a Cuban cigar!
Alright, into the advanced training facility. We start the training with a substitute for the HEV suit, the Powered Combat Vest, or the PCV.
Powered Combat Vest! Use it correctly and I guarantee it will save your life!
I've seen a few people say this doesn't make sense for the HEV charger to be here, but I feel like there's a way to justify it. Not that I know what that justification would be. Maybe Black Mesa sells them to other research facilities, and maybe some government facilities use the suits in military applications. I mean, part of the whole thing with Black Mesa and the Portal games is that Black Mesa is implied to be the Department of Defense's top contractor, while Aperture is always runner-up. I don't know, I just feel like this isn't really that weird to see here. The thing that is weird to see is the one next to it. The charger that the drill instructor mentions is a commercial charging station.
Or it can interface and recharge with commercial, military, and HEV charging stations.
Ohms. This only appears in this room in the entire series, and yeah, it works. Not that it's hard to simply copy and paste the HEV charger's functionality onto a different model. At least, I think that's a fairly simple thing to do. I don't know, I'm not a video game designer. But I just find it interesting they even bothered to make a completely new charger design just for it to be only used in this one room in an optional tutorial level for an expansion of a game in the first place. In the next room, we are shown just how effective the PCV is. He just has a guy shoot us with a shotgun.
If there are any U.S. Marine Special Forces out there, I'm going to assume that it's standard protocol to stand on a blood-drenched target and get blasted in the chest with a Spaz 12 shotgun. Yeah. No, I mean, how else would you know if your combat vest works?
Moving on, he sets us on fire, bestows tumors upon us, electrocutes us, makes us run through hot steam. Then we get to use the flashlight.
In addition to providing protection,
So, we don't get a flashlight in this one. We get night vision goggles. We have a basic movement tutorial, then another new mechanic, climbing ropes.
very good.
You know, for the purposes of this game, it works fine. And for the time which this came out, it's fairly impressive. However, just look at this.
Hey, soldier, this is a live fire exercise. The dirt, soldier.
Once again, I'm going to assume this is how basic military training goes. I mean, yeah, if you can't get under the barbed wire in time, or if you can't get lucky, you know, crawling through the only safe spaces from the gunfire where there are mines laid out, I mean, then you're better off dead to the military. They don't have any use for you.
Then we move on to weaponry. Our initial gun is a completely new one, the Desert Eagle. It takes the place of the original game's Colt Python revolver and does a similar amount of damage using the same ammo type. Use the alternate fire button to turn on the laser sight to increase accuracy, but in turn, this lowers its rate of fire. But realistically, I don't know why you would ever turn the laser sight off. The only time I could think to do that is in close quarters combat, and as you'll see in a minute, there are much, much better options for close quarters combat in this game. The next weapon we get to try is a sniper rifle.
In the use of a long-range sniper rifle. Proceed to the table, pick up the sniper rifle, and position yourself on the firing line.
It's basically a much, much better version of the original game's crossbow. The only caveat is that it can't hold as many bullets, so, you know.
In this exercise, you will be...
Like with the first game, I had to try it. Fair enough, I suppose.
We get to see two types of squad members. The engineer that can put the fear of God in sealed doors, and the medic that basically works as a living, breathing medical station, which, you know, of course, that's all a medic is in the first place. Finally, we learn we can use the military radios from the first game. Cool.
So that's the tutorial, and honestly, it's pretty cool. If you're gonna play this game, play the boot camp first, because it more so acts as an introduction to the game, rather than just a tutorial.
Speaking of which, Opposing Force. Cool name, by the way. It's a physics term while also referring to the fact that we're playing as the original Half-Life's Opposing... You get it. We open up on a helicopter on our way to Black Mesa. We are Adrian Shepard, a corporal in the Hazardous Environment Combat Unit of the U.S. Marine Corps, who is stationed in Arizona. And our current mission is, it's classified. Also, you can see the cliffside from the original game go by in the background, which is actually... pretty cool. Our fellow soldiers bicker about what the mission might be, since we haven't been told that yet.
Babysitting job my ass. This has training mission written all over it. Why else would they have kept our orders from us for so long, huh?
Then, all hell breaks loose. And before we can hear our orders... we wake up, then pass out, wake up again, then pass out again, then wake up again in a lab.
Is this what it's like for those people who pass out multiple times on roller coasters? And if so, do you always get woken up by a scientist? Or is that like some of the time?
Welcome to Black Mesa. That's a pretty awesome chapter title.
Oh, you've woken up. Corporal Shepard, is it?
Thankfully for both him and us, we are both blissfully unaware that I'm supposed to be caving his skull in right about now. He says that our entire squad has been wiped out and that he saved our life. He asks us to go radio back for help at our crash site, so we head out, and we come across these scientists studying the head crabs.
Have you ever seen such a magnificent species? These crabs can completely control their host's nervous system. Can you imagine what the next stage of mutation looks like?
Also, to make this diorama, they just laid a dead head crab on this corpse's face as if... I guess that's scientific enough for these guys.
It's like trying to show how leeches drink blood, so you just toss a dead leech on some guy's face. We grab a PCV and see a scientist get killed by a zombie that he's trying to give an X-ray to.
No!
He dies. I'm so sorry.
We go down these stairs to see a fairly extensive in scale security guard.
Hey, it takes one to know one.
Okay, Shepard, I see you found your power vest. That should keep you safe out there. See, now I've heard rumors that you troops may not actually be here to rescue us.
Buddy, you have no idea how much I'm supposed to be completely obliterating you right now. He lets us through and then we're off. And real quick, we get this game's first melee weapon, the wrench. It's a slow but powerful weapon that also has a secondary wind-up attack. We'll talk about that in a minute. There are these lasers that we have to get rid of by destroying a mirror. So we fight some head crabs and bear witness to the man of government, the G-Man. What could he have possibly said to that security guard? Then we make it outside, jumping across a few platforms until we can find the other melee weapon in the back of a dead Vortigaunt. Sorry, buddy. The combat knife. It's fast, deadly, and if you didn't know any better, you would immediately forget about the wrench now. So that's what I did on my first playthrough. I kinda just defaulted to never touching the wrench. Little did I know that nuclear missiles are only made to distract the public from the real weapons of mass destruction. The regular attack on the wrench is nothing special, but the wind-up hit... Just look at this. We make it out to our helicopter's crash site to find the electricity has made the entire area untouchable.
Listen, I'm sure helicopters are fairly conductive. But are they this conductive? Blame it on the resonance cascade or something like that, I don't know.
So we head the other direction to find the power switch, and this security guard here is a very smart person. Crawl through some vents and get our very first gun, our Desert Eagle, which is a pretty hefty weapon to start me off with, but I'm not complaining. And so it starts. Vortigaunts start showing up and combat starts happening. Then it's back to the crash site where we use the radio to contact fellow soldiers.
Shepard, you're alive. Listen, we've been cut up pretty bad and orders are coming down to pull out. Repeat, pull out.
So we finally get a clear time frame of when this takes place. I know the intercom has been saying things that it also said in the original game.
See control, for contamination cleanup.
But hell if I can remember at what point those lines play in the original game. We are starting to near the end of Half-Life 1 in this timeline, which will be made clear much later on.
Apparently they've got other plans for Black Mesa now.
I don't like the sound of these other plans.
So like the first game, just go the only way you haven't gone before. Those robots from Half-Life 1 actually serve a gameplay purpose for a few seconds. You need to shoot these explosives here to let this one through. He sets down a box and leaves, allowing the ladders to become usable. Dead soldiers, Vortigaunts, head crabs, the shotgun. Then this room, where the entire thing starts flooding and exploding. What do I do? What do I do? Then we're saved by the G-Man. Now, as you might notice, Adrian Shepard seems to have the strength of a 28-year-old lumberjack who swapped out his anger pills for shots of pure adrenaline. And from what I can tell, this is just kind of a glitch that formed by the use of modern computers. The code for many functions of this game seems to be based on having specific FPSs, so if your device runs at a higher frame rate than 60, it can cause some issues with the game. So technically, I could fix these bugs, but I never thought to do that. And honestly, why would you ever want to fix this? These bugs were patched out of the main game, but were never patched in the expansions. In fact, there are numerous glitches in the expansions that result from using modern hardware. Like in my first playthrough, I kept getting stuck inside elevators. That was fun. We take a tram ride, watch some Vortigaunts teleport around, and then we get the Glock.
Are you noticing a pattern with this game? There's so much in such a small amount of time. And that's kind of this game's mantra. And we're only getting started, man.
We find this guy.
Candy. Stupid machines. Why don't these ever seem to work?
Wonderful. He also doesn't like the chocolate I get him. I'll humor you. You can tag along for a moment.
You Whew, I think I got a ripe one.
Damn, this guy's actually kinda useful here. He has infinite ammo, nearly perfect aim, and he's using the Desert Eagle, so he does a lot of damage.
No! I don't want to die! Those poor bastards.
He has such a way with words. Yeah, so this game introduces a new selection of enemy types, which we'll see later.
You're one of them. Can't we just get along?
My mom is gonna worry when I don't make it home tonight.
For such a sharpshooter, the game's developers were super desperate to make him seem like such a failure in life. After this corridor, we take this elevator up and watch as our comrades are killed by Vortigons. Then we come across the point where our fellow soldiers are pulling out.
Do you copy? Forget about Freeman. We're abandoning the base. If you have any last bomb targets, mark them on the tactical map. Otherwise, get the hell out of there.
Okay, that's actually pretty neat to see. It is cool to see how the game directly ties into the original game like this.
Now we can pinpoint exactly where this takes place in relation to the original game. At this current moment, Gordon Freeman is politely expressing his survival skills to a large blue flame lump via missiles. There's this ordeal occurring here, and we can sneak in.
Well, I seem to be seriously wounded.
You sure are, buddy. Do I need to kiss it? Do I need to kiss the boo-boo? So we try to go out to the helicopter, then... I'll tell you, the G-Man's sure getting a lot more directly involved with Adrian Shepard than he ever did with Gordon Freeman. You might also notice that the heads-up display is... tiny. And this is just kind of a product of mixing large resolutions with an older game that never gets patches or fixes like the original Half-Life does. And in a lot of cases in this game, especially when you're using night vision, it makes trying to aim a nightmare because the reticle is so minuscule, and to add on to that, it's translucent and green. Anyways, we are ambushed by Vortigons. Missing in action. We go through some destroyed parts of the facility, crossing over ceiling panels where the ones that are wet drop you into electrified water. Would have liked a heads up on that, but it doesn't instantly kill you, so it's not that bad.
Well, you know what they say. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Like paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria. Or AIDS.
Gotta love that smacking a corpse with a combat knife is enough to make it explode into a milliard of pieces. We go across some fans and down this hole. Then we have to go over these... fire beams? It's that idea those scientists were talking about with the mutated headcrab zombies. This thing is called a gonome for some reason. They are headcrab zombies that are big, have a projectile attack, and seem to be made of the stuff you find on the floor next to the toilet in a busy household. They also have their teeth showing. Just figured I should mention that. Now, I'd like to think that there's some explanation as to why these zombies mutated, and the ones in Half-Life 2 didn't, but it probably doesn't matter. There's also some Zin starting to leak into our world, which I think was accidentally something Valve kinda reused in Half-Life Alyx. Blow up this box and go down this hole.
You got to get out of here. Listen to me, Shepard. Those things, they'll kill all of us.
So this is supposed to be the introduction of the new enemy types. But in a game where I've already fought Vortigons, headcrabs, zombies, and hound eyes, I feel like they could have worded this better.
We enter the next room and see some creatures walking above us. Then here they are. Pit drones. They're kind of goofy looking. They shoot spikes out of their head, and I'm pretty sure they shouldn't be allowed to survive a single Desert Eagle shot. But I digress. They still explode when you hit them once with a pipe wrench, so it doesn't really matter.
Which, to be fair, I feel like that would happen to most of us.
So these things are not Zin creatures, and neither are any of the other creatures introduced in Opposing Force. The aliens introduced in this game are referred to as Race X. You can't say that. I don't know. We get a few little nuggets of info about these guys throughout the game, but for the most part, since Race X is never mentioned in the more story-based games in the series, i.e. Half-Life 2 and the episodes, we don't really know a whole lot about these guys. I do like the idea, though, that as Gordon's time in Black Mesa is coming to a close, more types of aliens would end up using Zin as a way to come to Earth. I just think that kind of makes sense as a natural escalation of things.
I don't know what's worse. You soldiers under orders to silence the facility or these vile aliens.
Hey, looks like they finally caught on. This elevator cable is electrified, so we find the power box and turn it off. Then we climb up said cable to an office area. This is one of like 3 times that the ropes are ever used, so that's kind of a reoccurring theme with this game. There's this cool puzzle here where you have to reuse this box over and over again to reach places. Honestly, kind of reminds me of the companion cube in Portal 1. This vent breaks. Oh hey, a bull squid. These things are barely in this game, but hey, at least they're accounted for.
Okay, horrifying visual aside, how do you even die like that?
We make it down here with this guy, turn off some power, and I kid you not, the first 2 times I played this section, I got stuck here for about 15 minutes. Turns out all I had to do was look up. We hear some squad mates yelling as loud as they can that they should be as quiet as possible. We radio to them through the door, then they blow up the door to get to me, and... okay. They say the military is in over their heads, and we need to find a way out of Black Mesa. Shocker.
Government cover-ups were not in my job description. Roger that.
Yeah, the idle dialogue for your squad members in this game, it's really bad.
Man, if we make it out of here alive, do you have any idea who's in charge of this operation? Squad, quiet down.
The next chapter, Friendly Fire. Don't like the sound of that. A new carpeted area and tons of vortigaunts everywhere. Literally the only weapon that I used here was the wrench, and can you blame me? It obliterates them so hard they condense into such a small piece of meat. It's a wonder that each one doesn't form a black hole, or hell, maybe this wrench is how we prove that white holes are a thing. Look, I mean, come on, man. A lot of fighting, grunts show up, I lost my guys. Apparently the quality that Black Mesa likes to see in its employees is being late to work every day, even when you live at work, because Gordon Freeman is the employee of the month. Nice to know it's not even at the part of the facility that Gordon worked at. Also the only time in the entire game where you actually have to swing across ropes. Then we make it up to find a medic just hanging out.
Shepard, what the hell were you doing down there?
We crawl through this vent to see some Black Ops talking.
Why do we always have to clean up a mess the grunts can't handle?
Tell me about it. I just want to deliver the package and get out of here.
Yeah, sooner or later the grunts are gonna figure it out.
It's like they don't realize they're up against someone with a pipe wrench.
So now the Black Ops are our primary firearm-wielding enemies, here to cover up the cover-up of something that was already being covered up. Now, not only are there the female Black Ops from the main game that hop around and make me want to commit a mass wrenching, but there are male Black Ops, which seem to be a slightly modified and more powerful version of the Marine enemies from the original game. We atomize them with a pipe wrench and find this dying engineer. So here's this tricky logic puzzle, okay? Tell me if you get it. He says he needs a medic, and there was a random medic a second ago. You'll never believe what we have to do. Take out this turret, get the medic from earlier to this guy, and use him to go back to... Come on. The AI for the characters following the player in the original Half-Life and its expansions is pretty miserable if you're taking them farther than 5 feet away.
Let's get the hell
Okay, there is a real long section where we have to go along the railway system and kill Black Ops. You're supposed to keep your squad with you, and I managed that once, then died and decided that I didn't have the patience to get them to correctly follow me again. This whole section is fairly challenging. I still weirdly think that one of the best ways to get through this section is, you guessed it, the rusty red and gray matter mutilator along with some launchable grenades with the recently acquired MP5. Open a gate, go through here, shoot some people, then the next chapter. We are not alone. And we hear some familiar dialogue.
It's ready. You must go now.
One sec. Quick heal sesh first. Then...
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
So yeah, we get to see what happened here the moment Gordon Freeman goes through the portal to Zin. Well, actually, I've got to try the obvious real quick. Ah, my favorite. I don't know what I expected, but a secret ending is not what I expected. Anyways, you can kill some of the flying alien controllers, and I'm sorry to say, this scientist really doesn't make it. And we end up through another portal to Zin. There's a crystal here emitting small orbs of light called sprites, and from here on out, we are following them throughout the entire rest of the game.
First, the Tau cannon kills its creator because some security guard just holds down the trigger for some reason. Then the guy who made the gluon gun just refuses to use it. And now the guy that made the teleporty gun died from it, so... Listen, at this point, all I'm saying is that maybe these scientists should stop making crazy science, sci-fi crazy guns.
This is the displacer cannon. Primary fire shoots a portal that can do a lot of damage and can teleport enemies away to Zin. And the secondary fire that teleports you to a place in Zin that is determined by your place on Earth. Each of these Zin areas are unique places that usually have supplies or a few little things to see. In fact, in one of them, the dead body of one Miss Gina Cross can be found. That sucks. Not only is she the lady from the original game's training room, but she's also one of the protagonists of Half-Life Decay, a PS2 exclusive multiplayer expansion for another time. We'll talk about it some other time.
Good to know she never makes it. That'll be fun to think about when I play as her. Also, I completely missed the displacer cannon on my first playthrough. I'm just really good at that sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, I jumped past it all a little too fast, and the scientist and gun fell on the platform after I'd already passed it, and I guess I just didn't hear it. Whatever. Now you may be wondering, what happens when you teleport yourself right now, since we get the gun inside Zin? Well, it takes us to that aforementioned training room from the first game.
Signal your suit to make a duck jump. You'll want to stand right at the mouth of the pipe and continue to press forward.
That's actually kind of cute. Anyways, also, the primary fire portals can get bounced by the flesh trampolines. So we bounce up to this other portal where the sprites are going into. Next chapter, Crush Depth. Down this elevator to find a scientist trapped in a... What is this? We press this button and teleport him out.
Considering that it's well established that Black Mesa created teleportation is unreliable, made with barely any understanding, dangerous, and probably pretty expensive, was this really the best way they could get him in and out of that tank?
We get him to open this door, then we get him to open this door. Oh, never mind. Oh, okay, so we go up here. Pit drones. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I got the RPG earlier. I mean, it's nice to have, but you don't need it very often, and the time you do need it is not right now, so... Yeah, it's there. And the displacer cannon can kill you too. We teleport ourselves into some water, some more rooms with plenty of zombies, buff Electro-Cyclops, the thing that killed those poor bastards from earlier, the Shock Trooper. It's got quite a bit of health and can do a fair amount of damage. It can also spit up some alien grenade things. Once we kill it for the first time, we get its weapon, the Shock Roach. It's a way better version of the Hive Hand in that it's a living creature gun with infinite ammo. It doesn't have homing, but it does do a decent amount of damage. It also has an alternate fire that makes it look like it's not recharging even though it is? I don't know, I guess it does nothing. Also, found out that using it in the water electrocutes you. Surprised they thought of that. Some ichthyosaurs that it's better to take a wrench to than shoot because the one thing we don't have is the crossbow, even though we can get arrows for it. In Zin. Whatever, next chapter, Vicarious Reality. The entire chapter surrounds this 4-part biodome with a bunch of different things happening. We get another Race X enemy, the Voltigore. It looks almost like a precursor to the Antlion guards from Half-Life 2. But I imagine that's probably just a coincidence. They can shoot balls of lightning at you, so don't get hit by the balls of lightning. We make it to a laboratory where we get the Snarks.
Because you can't live without those.
There are also a bunch of optional paths in this chapter that really don't warrant exploring, since it's usually just a few enemies with some health. Tons of elevators. Here's the healing pools from Zin. We elevate up to this lab where we find, alien thing that we use as a gun. It also purrs like a cat. And lets me pet it. It also has an alternate fire that bounces around, I guess. Its ammo are these pellets, or Hold on, let me look this up. Okay, so apparently this thing's called a spore launcher, and it launches green spores. Sure. These spores are what those shock trooper guys are. Wait a second. Apparently this thing is a juvenile form of the shock trooper. I don't know how I never put that together. That's kind of cool. This website's a big rabbit hole on its own. There's a bunch of stuff listed here. In fact, there's a lot of cut enemies from the original Half-Life. I don't know how accurate any of this information is, but if it is accurate, some of this is just weird. Some of them are pretty cool, but then there's stuff like Mr. Friendly. It was a creature that was going to attack Gordon Freeman by attempting to procreate with him to death. Even saying that the point was to disturb young teens. Yeah, I don't know if you can justify that. That's just disturbing. Plus, I can't imagine that would have been good for this game's legacy, no matter how good the game was in the long run. I don't know. It leaves a very bad taste in my mouth. Let's just get back to opposing force. We go into the next room to see a hologram of some guy.
We detach one of the barnacle creatures from its point of gestation. As before, we were still only able to coerce the creature into latching onto organic material.
So yeah, in the next room we get a barnacle to use as a weapon, which is really cool as just a thing to happen. Granted, it's not really much of a weapon. It can latch onto living creatures and either pull you to them or them to you, depending on the size of the creature. It can sorta kill things by slowly gnawing on it to death, but it's more meant to be used as a grappling hook than any sort of viable option in combat.
Case in point, trying to kill a barnacle with a barnacle.
Now we've got a ton of white labs and enemies until we come upon some tentacles. Okay, they're here too. There's a few goodies next to them, and you can get those goodies by stunning the tentacles, but I mean, it's not like the goodies are that important. We meat mouth ourselves up to this hole in the wall.
X-Ray Zulu, are you there? We need backup in the waste sector. Some sort of worm creature.
I like to imagine the worm they're referring to is just a regular earthworm they're terrified of. We go down this glitchy vent that I got stuck in on my first playthrough due to a glitch. Into the next chapter. The Pit Worm's Nest. Quite subtle there. Definitely a relative of the shock trooper who's stuck in the toxic disposal, pit and is blocking our path forward. So, this is essentially a better/worse version of Blast Pit from the original game. While I'd argue that this is more interesting and I enjoy the location and environment a bit more, gameplay-wise, I don't think this is as fun of a section as Blast Pit. Blast Pit! Not that it's not fun at all, but I mean, you get the idea. Maybe it's just that I keep subconsciously thinking about this part here where you have to just sit there for 40 seconds while the water rises up. And I kept forgetting to quick save after the water reached the top, so I had to wait a few times. So to kill this thing, we have to go activate the gearbox and make sure the valve is working.
Okay, I get it. Good job on that one, guys.
Like I said though, the environment here is pretty cool to run around and look at. Not as grand in scale, but I think there's a lot to look at here. Grapple over to this bit, then... Next chapter, Foxtrot uniform. We go out and follow the sprites by flinging our tongue all over the place with some truly lovely sounds. Finally back on the surface. More Black Ops and another weapon. The M249 Saw. It's a big machine gun that does a hell of a lot of damage. I mean, it's not as dangerous as the wrench. I don't know if you can tell through the gameplay footage, but never in my life can I ever get used to using the number keys to select things in computer games.
It does not feel intuitive at all. I've tried on multiple occasions with multiple games for multiple hours straight each time to just get used to pressing the number keys as a way of selecting things. But I always miss a key or hit the wrong one. So whenever a game offers it, I just use the scroll wheel for that sort of thing.
Do you see this weapon selection? How many damn weapons do I need for this 4-hour game? This game has 3 more weapons than the original Half-Life. And it's half the length. That may not sound too crazy, but trust me, it is. This is something I'll touch on later, but specifically for the point I'm trying to make, I can't scroll through all of this and figure out what to use fast enough. Especially when I'm getting so many new weapons so fast that I never get a chance to get to know what to use when and where they are in the weapon selection. Mix that with the tiny UI, and it's like trying to pick which Cheez-It flavor at the store is the most like ice cream without ever having eaten a Cheez-It before, not knowing how to read, and only being allowed 10 seconds to choose. It's a blind panic.
Those snipers have pinned us down here pretty good. We tried making a break for it, but they know we're here. They're just waiting for their shots.
Anyways, we have some Black Ops to kill. So now, this game gets decently difficult. We fight our way through this area, finally getting the sniper rifle from the very beginning tutorial level. It's kind of like this game's version of the jump pack module. You know, you get told about it and shown how it works in the tutorial, and then you have to wait till the very end of the game to use it. Also, this area is one of Half-Life's favorite tropes. The explodey place that goes sky high if one minor thing happens. Then we reach these pitch black tunnels that are filled to the brim with Voltigores, as they've apparently made sort of a nest out of the place. So much so that for one single room, there's some baby Voltigores and some eggs in this one single room that you run through in a few seconds. That's the only time these things appear in the entire game. This entire tunnel section is probably my least favorite portion of the game. It's just kind of annoying with how many of these bullet sponges there are here. I kind of just found it better to run and hope they don't kill me. Oh yeah, there's also this room that constantly spawns pit drones until you close these doors, and this room's pretty frustrating.
Shepard, it's good to see you, sir. It's a real mess out there.
He says things are crazy and that there's a standoff at the dam. Okay. This section. So much combat. So many dead shock troopers. Oh, and did I mention, when a shock trooper dies after you've already acquired the shock roach as a weapon, the shock roach that the trooper had starts attacking you for a moment before dying themselves. Great! Plus our squad keeps shooting me in the back of the head, so that's cool.
We make it to the dam where a gargantua is tied up, and the G-Man is making a phone call.
We awkwardly grapple over to the other side and press this down, blowing up the gargantua. Why couldn't one of these guys detonate the bomb? Down a pipe into the next chapter, the package. I can't even begin to imagine. So we make our way to the outskirts of Black Mesa.
I don't know what those Black Ops are up to, but it doesn't involve getting us out of here alive. We've got no choice but to fight our way out. Let's go!
Yeah, let's go! I'll do the fighting, though, because somehow you Marines have less survivability than this guy. We get to a big open area where the Black Ops are hurling missiles at us like they can. I mean, if you go down here to get supplies, shock troopers spawn all around you. So I guess you just decide for yourself if it's worth it. We go into this little room where we can radio to some other soldiers.
We'll open the bunker door, but you better get over here quick.
I'm coming.
Oh, man.
Okay, so we make our way up to the missile launcher from earlier and use it to blow up that gate over there. A bunch of Race X guys spawn, we kill them, then we go through the newly accessible pathway. Through this is just a ton more guys to decimate. Or not. Then out of nowhere, there's a helicopter shooting at us that we're supposed to blow up, I guess. So we do. I don't know why you gave me the RPG so long ago, but I mean, I guess it was useful. We turn off the power so we can tightrope across the wire.
As any soldier knows how to do. Which would mean that he learned how to tightrope before he learned how to climb a rope. Either that or they consider this tightroping, which I don't.
We make our way to the parking garage and fight a bunch of things because, of course, then we climb up to the ceiling to find this guy.
Now, don't hurt me, and I'll tell you a secret. I've been hiding up here listening. These Black Ops have some sort of bomb. I think they're planning on blowing up the base.
Great. The Black Ops are gonna nuke the place as a final Hail Mary to cover all this up and sweep it under the rug. Something doesn't add up there.
Okay, now I'm here at this door, and the security guard says he's not letting me in until I disable the aforementioned nuclear bomb. He just assumes I can do that, I guess.
Some targets running around out there.
The bomb has an instructions label like a microwave frozen meal. We turn it off, go back to the security guard, he lets us in, and the G-Man reactivates the bomb. That was pointless. Sir, what are you doing? Why? Sir, why? Worlds collide, the final chapter. It starts with us going through this warehouse area where there are so many Black Ops, and a good majority of them are the female ones that hop around and do so much damage. But despite the insane amount of enemies here, for a warehouse section in a video game, this whole area is pretty cool and memorable. Much like the original game where the Marines are fighting the Zen creatures, here the Black Ops are fighting the Race X creatures in a similar manner. Oh yeah, and by this point in the game, the Zen creatures are pretty much out of the picture, even though we still do have our displacer cannon.
Below, there's something coming through, and it's the nastiest looking thing yet. Some of your buddies went down there a while ago, and I haven't seen them since. I've got some weapons I've piled up in here. You better take as much as you can carry, 'cause I think this is it.
At last, we find where the sprites are going. A purple portal that no, you can't enter. Instead, this thing pops out of it. The Gene Worm. I have no idea. Seemingly the thing that is allowing the Race X creatures to come to Earth, I suppose. This is our final boss. It really can't move. It can breathe on you to death, but there's a healing pool in the other room, so why is there a healing pool there? It makes this entire boss incredibly easy. You shoot its eyes, attack its incredibly stingy hitbox a few times, then it goes back to where it came. Then, we are suddenly on a helicopter again with the G-Man.
The biggest embarrassment has been Black Mesa facility, but I think that's finally taken care of itself. Quite so.
Well, there goes Black Mesa, a government's feeble attempt to undo what cannot be undone while also being a good way to destroy evidence of the G-Man's intervention. Good for him, I guess.
We have decided to convey you somewhere you can do no possible harm, and where no harm can come to you. I'm sure you can imagine there are worse alternatives.
So that's it. We can either sit here forever, or leave the game.
Good wrench in a vortex head. This game is a wonderful mess. It might be weird to hear this, but the game needed to be a full-length video game, because, as I said earlier, on a first playthrough, it's probably going to take you about 5 hours, and on a replay to get everything for the footage, it took me 4 hours. You go through everything I talked about in 5 hours.
Nothing in this game is bad at all, but nothing gets time to sit or feel well utilized. It's just new idea, new idea, new idea in rapid succession. The locations? Great and memorable, but we blast through them like it's nothing. All the new and returning weapons? They're all cool, but there's way too many of them, and we don't really get time to get used to them and figure out what they're good for. Honestly, I think this game would have benefited if they didn't include so many returning weapons, letting the new ones shine and feel useful. Instead, I'm here scrolling through all of them, not really knowing which one feels correct to use because the game didn't give me the time to get accustomed to all the weapons. All the new enemies, the story, the entangled mess of new and cool ideas meshing together to create an extremely bloated short experience. That being said, none of this is really bad, and I'd argue there's still a lot of fun to be had with this game. But there's no reason this video should be any longer than the Half-Life 1 video, despite opposing force being half the length. And the storyline.
So if it wasn't obvious, this game is not really trying to show you the original game from a different perspective. It's more so concerned with trying to show you what happens to Black Mesa after Gordon goes to Zen, which I think is a fine direction to take the story of this. It just tried to go in a bunch of other different directions at the same time.
From what I can tell, there was an idea that was originally thrown around for Adrian Shepard and a group of soldiers to deny the orders to kill the civilians and try to fight their way out on their own, which is a cool idea, but with how much stuff they crammed into this short of an experience, I think it was best not to overcomplicate it with even more extra groups of people, especially if they wanted us to fight some HECU soldiers and work with some others. We already have the scientists and security guards, the Marines, the Black Ops, the Race X people, the Zen creatures, and the G-Man all forming a chaotic war zone at Black Mesa. We don't need another group of people. The final boss isn't really built up either, it just kinda comes out of nowhere. Then it's over. I will say though, I do really like the Race X guys, and I really do like seeing the whole progression of Black Mesa after the first game. And all of that crazy chaos ends with a nuclear explosion, leaving empty rubble. That's kinda cool. And regarding the entire storyline here, people can't decide if it's canon or not. One time a Valve person said it's not canon, but then one time some other guy said it was. He said, she said. I mean, Adrian was planned to be used again for some Half-Life 2 related things, but those never came to fruition.
With all of that being said, it's still really good. It's bloated, a bit of a mess, should have been longer, but it's still Half-Life. It's still a lot of fun. Anyways, I mean, I guess you can sleep here if you want. Just don't hog all the covers. Good night.